What's up, guys? It's Little Red Riding Hood coming back at you. Where's my gran? What? Ken? But we're going to talk about the Chris Chibnall era of Doctor Who, which was from 2018 to 2022. Of course, Chris Chibnall is the Antichrist. He sacrifices children, and just a general bastard is what fans would say about him. Because at the time, fans were hysterical about him. Oh my god. Fans were... This is when you get these sort of anti-woke grifters that would say crazy shit. Like, the Doctor Who hates white men. Continue. Well, that's funny because every one of the Chibnall seasons has a fucking straight white guy there who I thought, as a straight white guy, I thought they treat him with respect. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. So don't... If you haven't watched the Chibnall era, be open-minded. People have given this a really bad rap. It's not the best era, it's definitely flawed, but it's not evil. You know what I mean? It's not like it's saying communism for the win, there's a million genders, I've got a sack filled with baby penises, transition your child. That's maybe a out of order thing to say there, but never mind. I do apologise. But let's start off with Series 11. Nice box set. Nice box set, I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that for nothing. I will say one thing about the Chibnall era, like, in that the show looked great. Like the theme tune looked great, like the opening credits. Even just like the cameras and stuff, like it looked great in the show. It looks even better than the stuff we have now. The logo was great, very distinctive, and the box sets were great. Very beautiful era visually. Series 11 is okay. It's an ambitious series. The plotline is very stripped back. It's really about personal drama. It's about how this family, and I guess their pal, deal with the death of a loved one. That's it. And it's nice. It's a very small scale series. And you've got 3 sidekicks in this series. Ryan Sinclair, who is a metal worker and has dyspraxia, which comes up in like 2 episodes before it's forgotten. Yasmin Khan, who is modern Doctor Who's longest, I think, or she's at least the second or first longest serving companion or sidekick, who stays for the entire Chibnall era. And she's also a police officer. How woke women can't be police officers. You know, their breasts would weigh them down chasing after a criminal. Or what if they have their period in the middle of when they're arresting someone? Are they going to change their mind? That was a joke. A joke that pissed off the further left and the further right. And then you've got one of my favourite sidekicks, Graham O'Brien. Graham O'Brien. He's actually an Englishman, he's not an Irishman. But he's just funny. He's just some dude. Got involved. Just some dude. Love Graham. And of course, the Doctor is played by who's played by a fucking woman. The thing is, I was like really excited when a female Doctor Who was announced. The guy was probably one of the last times I felt like really excited or giddy for a piece of media. You know, as a kid, you look forward to a game or like a movie or whatever, and your heart would be like, you'd think about the movie or whatever, and your heart would be like boom, 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 and you'd get giddy. Yeah, I was like 16 when they announced that the next Doctor Who would have boobies. Typical Doctor Who fan. But yeah. If I had to rate Series 11, I'd probably give it like a... Why am I acting so autistic? Probably like, because I'm a Doctor Who fan, I'd probably give it like a 6 or a 7 out of 10. 6 out of 10. I used to really dislike Series 11, because I partly bought into all this anti-woke grifting, where they tell you stuff like, did you know in episode 5, they do a transgender operation on Graham, which they didn't, by the way. I think in that episode there was like a killer hamster. Yeah. Series 11 was trying to move the show in a new direction. They were trying something new, genuinely. They were going for a more mature tone. It just didn't... Something happened behind the scenes, just didn't work out well. Just didn't work out. And from what I hear, Doctor Who has a notoriously hellish production schedule, so that's maybe it. Maybe Chibnall, was very knocked off balance when he got into making the show, and he sort of shat himself because of that. What episodes I like from this era, or this series? Rosa, I actually like a bit. It's a bit Rosa Parks. It would be better if they didn't have any sci-fi threats in it. They've got this goofy, fucking cartoonishly evil villain who's like a racist from the future. Essentially, he's a space racist. If it was just about the Doctor and the gang get caught up in the Rosa Parks situation, I think it would have been a much better episode. It's still a good episode. It's just that's a big flaw in it. Demons of the Punjab, that's about the partition of India. Interesting episode. Like it quite a bit. Is it the Tassanundra conundrum? That's a fun one. It's a bit like a killer hamster on a spaceship just bodying people. It Takes You Away is another fun one. That's about a frog in another universe, like a godlike frog being from another universe, messing around with our universe. And I really like that story arc where it's just essentially a family dealing with loss. Very mature storyline, and very helpful to children watching the show, because Doctor Who is a family show. Yeah. Oh yeah, and you might remember from my Moffat video, if you've watched it, that the BBC were experimenting like hell with the show's format. With Series 11, it's now made up of 10 episodes instead of 12. Anyway. And Series 11 gets a huge backlash, hysterical backlash, way too, just unreasonable backlash. And so Series 12, they take their time making. They don't release it in the following year. They release it the year after. They give it an extra year. Ooh, brain fog. They're given an extra year to make it. Because of behind the scenes stuff. I think the BBC screwed over some contractor or something. Because apparently Chris Chibnall needed more time to make sure the scripts were of better quality. So we get Series 12. Another beautiful box set, man. Look at that. Look at that. And a nice thick one as well. Hey, hey, hey. Same cast as Series 11. Look, I don't agree with the Chibnall hate at all, but I'm just going to say it. Series 12, worst series on one Doctor Who. I think it's a bit bad. I'd give like a 4 out of 10. It's just, a lot of the writing's just dumb. There's some horrendous episodes like Can You Hear Me? Orphan 55 is famously trash. Even though the writer of that time wrote It Takes You Away, which, you know I like it. You know I like that episode. The plot line of this series is essentially the Cartmel master plan from the McCoy era of Doctor Who, when it was going to be revealed that there's essentially incarnations of the Doctor before the first, and that the Doctor was a major founder of Time Lord Society. We'll get into that. Essentially, the plot line, they hint at it throughout the series, and then in the finale, they drop the bomb. And more hysterical backlash. They introduce a new master. They introduce Sacha Dhawan as the master, and he's pretty good. NGL, he's pretty good. And complete shocker to the knocker. Because, you know, the Master last showed up in Series 10. You'd think they'd give them a rest, but apparently no. Yeah. Oh yeah, Series 12 came out in 2020, and it's also 10 episodes long. The Ascension of the Cybermen two-parter, the finale, does the Cartmel master plan, and people lose their minds. And to this day, 5 years later, I still, coming on 6 years, I still don't understand the anger behind that. Because there's essentially like 12 Doctors before the first on-screen Doctor, William Hartnell. I don't get the anger. I was concerned that it would be disrespectful to William Hartnell. If the show just says, oh, he's just another Doctor. He done nothing special. If I were showing, I'd be saying that William Hartnell's Doctor was the first to have the modern morals of the Doctor, and that all the Doctors before him were a bit shady. And I think that's what the Chibnall era is generally hinting at anyway. Of course, this series we get Jo Martin's Fugitive Doctor is pretty good. God damn, she can act. I'd be up for seeing her as like the next Doctor, by the way. I thought she was great. She's apparently supposed to be like, I think the last pre-Hartnell Doctor. That's the general consensus. I mean, that's Series 12 for you. That piece of shit. I mean, obviously there's behind-the-scenes drama. So, because Chris Chibnall, he wrote like an award-winning series, didn't he? Broadchurch. Or had a big part in it. Anyway, whatever. Next we have a big lie. We have Revolution of the Daleks. which has the return of Captain Jack, who was last seen in Doctor Who when he made a cameo in series 4.5. Of course, nowadays, I don't know if we'll ever see Captain Jack again, because John Barrowman done some weird things on. I don't think he sexually harassed anybody. I don't think he done anything super outward, just weird boys' humour. Like, if you're a guy, you've either flashed your arse at your mates or you flashed your cock. I don't care. You've done it at some point. I've done it. Right? I haven't done it in public. You're at someone's house. You flash the willy. You flash the. Okay, you do it like once when you're like a teenager, right, or in your very early 20s. I haven't done this recently. You know what I mean? Right. Revolution of the Daleks. I don't know why it's its own DVD. It's just a random special. It's alright. I'd give it like a... Rating's a bit dumb, innit? 6 out of 10. 7 out of 10. It's okay. It's okay. It's alright, like. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. Next we get Series 13, which aired in 2021. And got a bit screwy because of the pandemic. They had to scrap their original plans for Series 13. So Series 14 is just one big 6-part story called Flux. And let me tell you something right now. It's probably one of my favourite series of Doctor Who. I think it's great. The episodes 5 and 6 are a bit screwy, and they do mess up the overall conclusion to the plotline for that series. But I think it's brilliant. Jodie Whittaker is the Doctor. Yasmin Khan is the sidekick. And the UK comedian John Bishop, or Jonathan Bishop, is the sidekick. Dan Brown, who's like some plasterer from Liverpool. Yeah. This series, man, I'm telling you, sometimes adrenaline can really make you produce great works, I tell you. Like sometimes, like exams and stuff, when I done exams and stuff, or I mean, like projects, like you had to write an essay for college or whatever. Sometimes that adrenaline would make me produce stuff last minute that got me A's, and I'm not lying about that. Sometimes it didn't. Sometimes I completely failed when I didn't manage my time well, and I had to put in a lot of effort last minute, which is a big issue for me. Time management. You think I would have gotten the hang of it by now? I was going to say only with big complex things, but that's a lie. Even at work, my time management's a bit screwy. I end up staying overtime to do some of the more minor things that I need to do. Anyway, but then again, that job has a lot of issues in general. Let me tell you. Anyway, yeah, Chris Chibnall wasn't given a lot of time to write this series, if I've remembered that right. And it's definitely his strongest series. It's generally a good piece of Doctor Who. I think people are going to be a lot kinder to it in years to come. Jodie Whittaker is at her peak here. Yasmin has a personality here. Dan Brown's just a bloody laugh. Of course, in this series, you get to see Sontaran riding horses. Potato men riding horses. Wonderful. There's also dog people. Wonderful. Then you've got stories like Once Upon Time. Not Once Upon a Time. Once Upon Time. which is a wonderfully experimental episode where it's like the Doctor just gets thrown around different people's timelines. So it's kind of like a PowerPoint presentation episode. Wonderful. And then you've got Village of the Angels, which is, oh my God, is just a really good Weeping Angel story. Classic bit of Doctor Who. Classic. Another banger by Maxine Alderton. Well, she co-wrote this one, but just a banger. I'd give Series 13, honestly, like an 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. Even though they do mess up the big plot line. They mess it up pretty badly. Then we get Series 13.5, as I like to call it, which was a bunch of specials, 7 specials long, which aired from 2022 to 2023. And it's probably the most insane run of episodes in the modern era. There's like 3 Doctors here. The Daleks show up, the Sea Devils show up, the Toymaker shows up, the Master shows up. You got the 13th, 14th, and 15th Doctors here. It's crazy. But we're going to be talking about the Chibnall portion of that in this episode. Of my ramblings. And he is showing for the first 3 episodes. So, episodes 1 and 2 of Series 13.5. Eve of the Daleks and Legend of the Sea Devils. Eve of the Daleks is harmless. Harmless. 7 out of 10. Harmless wee story. It's essentially Groundhog Day, but with Daleks. Harmless. Legend of the Sea Devils, from what I gather, was written last minute, because the BBC wanted an extra special. And it tells because the episode sucks ass. Terrible story. It's nice to see the Sea Devils. And don't the Sea Devils have swords in this one? That's wonderful. Honestly, like a 2 out of 10 story. Really bad. And then we get the last episode of the Chibnall Era. And a lot of people say it's best episode. I'd probably give that to Village of the Angels. But the Power of the Doctor. Let me tell you. Episodes 4, 5 and 6 of the miniseries, Series 13.5, are written by Russell T Davies, and they are the 60th anniversary portion of the miniseries, for the show's 60th anniversary. And I'll just say this now, the Power of the Doctor is a better celebration of Doctor Who's 60th anniversary. And we'll get into that when I eventually cover the RTD2 era of the show, which probably won't be until like late next year, because it's still ongoing, and it's likely that era is going to end next year. And reliable sources have said that it's going to end next year, and you read between the lines as well. I'd give the Power of the Doctor an 8 out of 10, even if it is just for fan servicey reasons. In this special, you've got Daleks, Cybermen, the Master, Tegan, who is a sidekick from the 1980s, shows up. Ace, who's a companion from the 1980s, shows up. You get cameos from the First Doctor, from the Fifth Doctor, from the Sixth Doctor, from the Seventh Doctor, from the Eighth Doctor, damn it, from the Fugitive Doctor. And then the cliffhanger of this episode is one of the best cliffhangers of the show ever. Jodie Whittaker regenerates into David Tennant. What the fuck? What a crazy ass. Oh yeah, and you get the Master Doctor in here, where Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, the 13th Doctor, regenerates into Sacha Dhawan's Doctor, the Master Doctor, an evil Doctor Who. They could have done so much more with that concept. What an interesting concept. Even if it is just a slightly altered Valiard concept. That's actually a good idea. Chibnall, I don't know what bloody happened. I think the pandemic just fucking sparked something in his brain, and he's like, "Fuck, I don't care anymore. I'm going to be mad creative. I'm not going to be careful anymore." I have mad respect for it. Yeah. Also controversially, not really controversially, controversial with a minority of nutters. The Doctor and Yasmin fancy each other. Like, modern Doctor loves to have the Doctor shag their companions. You had David Tennant's Doctor and Rose. You had Martha fancying David Tennant's Doctor. You had Amy Pond fancying Matt Smith's Doctor. You had Matt Smith's Doctor and Clara Oswald fancying each other. For God's sake, the Doctor got married in Series 6. But now it's a problem that Yasmin and the 13th Doctor wanna get footloose. I think we all know why some people have an issue with it, but I'm going to be a gentleman and not tell you the reason why. But I'd read between the lines there. I don't think it's good faith criticism. I don't think these people are against all flavours of romance. Get what I'm saying? I mean, that's the Chibnall era for you. I'd give it like a 5 out of... I don't know. 6 out of 10. Or a 5 out of 10. I'll give it a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. I think a lot of things happened behind the scenes that made this era not work. Yeah. This era got a lot of flack for... I don't know how this is a bloody problem. Being too progressive. I get if, like, there's some people in the world that say they're progressive but are just bigoted. People that people that call themselves feminists but hate men, or people that are all about black, racial minority rights but hate white people. Stuff like this. And it works the other way as well. There's people that care for racial rights but seem to only care when it's white people's rights, or people that are all about actual gender equality. Screw those feminists, but only really care about men, put women down all the time. A lot of that nonsense leaked into the fan discourse around the Chibnall era, and people have been so hysterical. Again, the show being too progressive. How do you be too progressive? The love interest of Dan Brown, for example, was an amputee woman, and a piece of heaven that woman was. Get what I'm saying, lads? Yeah. And also, the earliest known incarnation of the Doctor is I think a black girl. People have an issue with that. It's like, get a grip. I'm more concerned with the fact that they might be disrespecting Hartnell by not making him like a special incarnation, because it is his character that everyone else is based on, every other incarnation of the Doctor. And the way some of the fans treated Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall was quite frankly disgusting. Trying to say like they're bad people and stuff. Like, screw you, dude. Like, fucking, like, I'm sorry that your life's going so badly that you're like getting this hateful over a television show that's partly aimed at children. Like, relax. Sure, I don't like every era of Doctor Who. Get what I'm saying? But, you know, I don't, like, rage about it. You just gotta remember that there's real people involved here making these TV shows. And they probably do hear what you say about them. I mean, they're human. They're going to, like, look up themselves. You know, it's just a bad look that the UK, which is generally a progressive country, we have our flaws, but we're generally quite progressive. We've led the world in many aspects of social justice. One of the first countries to give women the right to vote. One of the first countries to end slavery. Yeah, I tell you what, that's pretty good. But then, you know, we act like spoilt toddlers when a woman takes over a role traditionally played by a man. Like, we have to get a grip. It's just a bit embarrassing. And I hope it hasn't put Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall off of being involved with the fandom in the future. There are a lot of people that really like this era and they think it's their favourite. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I mean, my favourite era of Modern Doctor is RTD1. And even then, that era had a lot of progressive stuff. You had interracial relationships, gay characters, bisexual characters, strong female women, fuck me, strong female characters. For example, in episode 1 of Modern Doctor Who, Rose Tyler saves the day, this woman. And in the very first finale, she saves the day. Due to her disobeying the male doctor. Sure, not in like a sassy girl power, fuck men sort of way. But it just so happened she was a woman and she disobeyed a person that was... Disobeyed, that sounds bad. Disobeyed a guy that happened... a character that happened to be male. Yeah, if you're a Doctor Who fan, don't listen to these anti-woke grifters. Or in general, try not to be hateful. I know this is like a revolutionary philosophy I'm putting on you right now, but just calm down. Okay? There's even people on the left that are being like really hateful around this whole thing and taking themselves a bit too seriously, to be quite frank. Who is Frank? I don't know. All I know is that it's time to end the video. Peace and love. Peace and love. Maybe I can find my gram. Little Red Riding Hood, signing off.